When it comes to Hearthstone, there is a lot of cards that are made that we don't actually see. And I came across this really cool page in the Hearthstone wiki that kind of showcases cards that were just not released. Card like Gnome Napper, which is a pretty interesting card at a 5-mana 5/5 neutral minion. Battlecry, discover a minion. If your opponent guesses your choice, they also get it. This card was showcased during the Witchwood, and I'm guessing they didn't release it because you don't really want to be doing anything on your opponent's turn. Next, we have Cheerful Spirit, which was a 2-mana 2/4 minion for Mage. Whenever you draw a spell, add a copy of it to your deck. Cheerful Spirit was a Mage card that belonged to the Rise of Shadow expansion, but I'm guessing they put Khadgar instead of Cheerful Spirit. In the Witchwood expansion, we did get a card kind of like Cheerful Spirit, Archmage Aragol. Whenever you draw a minion, add a copy of it to your hand. Firebeard Herald was an epic minion that was removed in alpha for classic that read, your minions can't be frozen. There wasn't a lot of freezing effects in classic Hearthstone, but this card was reincarnated as a different card in a later expansion. Living Dragon Breath was this card reincarnated at the release of Descent of Dragons. Another card that was removed in alpha was Puddle Jumper, a 1-mana 2/1 neutral minion. Murlocs cost 1 less. Now, I'm guessing they removed this card because they didn't want that much mana chi into the game, and it's kind of funny how much mana chi we have now, am I right? Speaking of another mana cheating card, we have Mana Spring Totem, which was a 4-mana 0/1 Shaman Totem. Your cards cost 1 less. This card actually seems really broken because as long as you have 4 cards in your hand, this card virtually pays for itself and can continue giving you value and mana cheat. This card was replaced with Farsight after realizing how good this card actually was. Another mana cheating card back in classic was Dark Summoner, a 5-mana 5/5 neutral minion. The first minion you play each turn cost 3 less. I'm guessing they removed this because this was probably too much of a snowbally effect if you got ahead. This card actually made it into the actual game, but then was replaced in patch 1.0.0.3140 with Spiteful Smith. In Rostakon's Rumble, we were supposed to get a card called Grimoire of Service, which was a 9-mana Warlock card. Choose a friendly minion, add a copy to your hand, deck, and battlefield. According to the wiki, the developers cut the card because they thought it was going to be too powerful when it was used with Voidlord. After being deemed too powerful, this card was eventually replaced with what we know as Void Contract. Kind of funny that they replaced a really good card with potentially one of the most memey cards in existence. Grimoire of Service was later used as a minion, Southervar, which was released in the Descent of Dragons expansion. In Rostakon's Rumble, Shaman was supposed to get a really powerful legendary, a 10-mana 10/10 Bethec the Panther. Battlecry, if you've casted 10 spells, deal 10 damage to all enemies. This was also a beast. This card was cut due to a thematic view for Rostakon's Rumble. They wanted Shaman to go into a little bit of a different direction, and they deemed that this was extremely powerful and was probably not good for the game. This card was then replaced with Kragwa the Frog, which was a pretty good legendary to replace it. It just doesn't seem as powerful as Bethec. Another card that was released in alpha was Envenom, a 3-mana rare rogue spell. Double your weapon's attack this turn. Now, this card used to be a lot better because the rogue hero power changed. The rogue hero power used to be when you have a dagger equip, give your current dagger another attack. So what rogue players used to do is get your dagger up to 8 attack, then use 1 Envenom to go to 16, and then use another one to go to 32 for a 1-shot kill. They ended up changing the rogue hero power, but they also replaced this card with what we know as Blade Flurry. Interesting question. If the rogue hero power was not changed, do you think it would be too good now in current Hearthstone? Let me know with a comment down below. Next, we have Mental Collapse, a 2-mana pre-spell. Deal 1 damage to the enemy hero for each card in their hand. Now, at first glance, this card doesn't look as good as you may think it is, but with the combination of Greater Heal, which was the older version of the card Holy Fire, and Cold Light Oracle, you could do a lot of damage in a single turn. After seeing the combo that can be dealt with these cards, Mental Collapse was then replaced with Light Spawn, which does not really do the exact same thing. Next, we have Cobaltzug, which was originally going to be a part of Rise of Shadows and was one of the lackeys at a 2-mana 2/2 Battlecry. deal 3 damage, randomly split among all enemies. Now, I don't know about you, but I was not a huge fan of lackeys, and this one would have been awful to play against. Thank God they didn't release it. Next, we have Death Wish, which was a 2-mana warrior spell. Your hero loses all armor and gets +1 attack for each armor destroyed. I'm guessing they removed this card because they didn't want warrior to deal that much damage face and potentially OTK your opponent, and this card was replaced with Shield Slam. Now, considering that Shield Slam is arguably one of the best design cards in Hearthstone, I see this as an absolute win. Old Town Beggar was a 1-mana 1/1 neutral minion. At the end of your turn, you have a 25% chance to draw a card. This card was removed in alpha, which was probably a really smart decision because of the strict variance on this card. I'd imagine that Nat Peggle did the exact same thing as this card with a little bit higher of a chance to actually draw a card. Nat Peggle used to say at the end of your turn, you have a 50% chance to draw a card. So that's probably the closest that they got. Before they made the coin, there was another way of helping the person going second in a game of Hearthstone by giving them a 0-mana 1/1 avatar of the coin. Now, I'm guessing that they were trying different stuff to help mitigate the problem of going second in a game like Hearthstone, eventually landing on the coin in an extra card, but this was a pretty interesting solution. Quest for Epic Loot was the first version of the Priest quest plan to appear in Journey in Un'Goro. This card said, when this is the only card in your hand, transform this into Epic Loot. I could not find what they meant by Epic Loot. It might be just like the thing you get from Martin the Fox, but I'm not too sure. From the Hearthstone wiki, this design was removed because once the quest transformed into something insanely powerful, it was immensely frustrating for the opponent since from their perspective, the player had just played an extremely powerful card out of nowhere. So to solve this situation, they made the actual quest that we know from Journey to Un'Goro, which had the exclamation mark above the hero, so you could see how much progress they have until they got the reward, and this card was replaced with Awaken the Makers. Another really interesting card was the Omni Reaper that was set to release during the Boomsday project for Rogue, a 8-mana 6/6 legendary mech. Battlecry, repeat all your death rattle effects that happen this game. I don't know why they removed it. It does not say in the wiki, but Rogue got, instead of this card, a 5-mana 4/2 Myra Rotspring. Battlecry, discover a death rattle minion, also gain its death rattle. We have the Scrap Reaver, a Warlock legendary for a 6-mana 6/6 Battlecry. Swap the attack and cost of all minions in your hand. We have Bind to the Cause, a 4-mana Demon Hunter spell. Summon a demon from your deck and make it dormant for 2 turns. We have Arcane Blast, a 1-mana mage spell. Deal 1 damage, draw a card from alpha. And last but not least is Demoralizing Roar, a 1-mana druid spell that enemy minions get -3 attack this turn. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you ended up enjoying it, make sure you like and subscribe if you have not already. You look fantastic, and I'll see you in the next one.